She has makeup on! Hello, my soul, I'm here making their video. Alright, so today I want to talk about settling, or really why you shouldn't. Alright, so I feel like you shouldn't settle in anything, whether that be a job or a career. Now, granted, I know you can't always start from the top, but I feel like if you really want to get to a certain point, you shouldn't settle where you're at, and you should really try to get to where you want to be. Personally, if I had settled with, wanting to become a psychologist, I wouldn't have, pushed myself to, be taken seriously as a mentor for, my babies with spina bifida or anyone else, that wants my mentoring. And I wouldn't have been taken serious to be a speaker, which I thankfully am, the more that I, do it. So, just feel like you shouldn't settle, and I'm not where I want to be at, with my career goals, but I am thankfully a lot further, and that's because I didn't settle, and I encourage you all to do the same. But another place where I feel like you shouldn't settle ever is relationships. Now, as we all know, I am the queen of situationships, and today I have another story about one for you guys. Now, as we all know, I am usually the one who gets my heart broken in situationships, and I'm the one who ends up, crying because I realized that who I thought was a good match for me wasn't. But this time, I'm kind of the one who did the breaking of the hearts. It wasn't my intention, and it isn't what I wanted to happen, but let me start from the very beginning. Alright, so about a year ago already, like around the time where I was recovering from my surgery, if you guys have kept up with me long enough, then you know of that. I got this message on Facebook. Now, before I opened that message, the first thing I noticed was the profile picture of this person, and I swear to you, my heart dropped, because this person in that picture anyways looked exactly like the man that had broke my heart and just made me not look at life so nicely, or men. So I thought that he had, created like a fake profile to like talk to me. But, after I did some stalking on this guy, I, was able to prove that it wasn't him, thankfully. So then I opened his message, and, he had just said that, he found me through my channel, and, he just, gave me like, really nice comments on what he thought of me, after finding me, and I was just like, oh, what a nice guy. And I didn't initially think much of it, just because I humbly get a lot of nice comments and messages my way. So I thought that was going to be like, that, and we were gonna move on with our lives. But after I answered him, I think that he then friended me on Facebook, and I noticed that whenever I would post anything, whether that be a status, a post, or a picture, a video, whatever, he would, always give me his feedback on it. And I think that was what made me, really like him in the beginning. Like, he was just very attentive of me, and just focused on me. And I liked that. I like when a guy takes me into account. So I was like really into him in the beginning, and I didn't end up finding out until later that he actually wasn't really into me in the beginning, like romantically, which is okay. I'm not mad. It was funny to me. But I was into him, and with the thing with me is I like to think that I'm picky on who I like, even though that usually doesn't end up going well for me, and I end up picking the wrongest people to fall for. But you know, then I end up realizing that they're not really a good match for me. But what I've noticed is that also that I move a little bit too quick when I like someone, and I don't really think with my brain a lot when I fall for these people, and he was no exception. Now, I should have learned this lesson with my first situationship, and I should have learned that I shouldn't move on too quick, but I didn't learn. And so I will take full responsibility and say that I let things move too quick with this person. And when I realized that things were moving too quick for me, it was a little too late, because he then wanted to move things a little bit too quick for me. And one of the first times that I realized that, and you know, I got a red flag from it, was if you guys maybe noticed, I have a charm bracelet, and he noticed it too, and he wanted to give to me a charm for it, and we actually got into an argument over it, because, you know, I just feel like we weren't just friends, and we weren't exactly in a relationship, and so we were like in an awkward, weird middle, and I just didn't feel comfortable with him gifting me something if we weren't anything official. And so I expressed my thoughts on it, and we got into an argument over it, and like I said, that was the first red flag that things were not really good between us. But you know, so after that, I kind of you know, started to, you know, not feel fully comfortable with him, but I still maintained the situationship. And then sometime after, he actually told me at one point that he loved me, and I don't remember, to be honest, what I said to him, but I know that once I like let it sink in that he said that, I was like, listen, you're a really sweet guy, but I just think we need to take a step back and just focus on being friends, and that's, you know, where I want to be with you, and that's where I feel like is the best for us to be. And, you know, he he said that he respected that, and he said that he would agree to just be friends, but he didn't really understand what I wanted, and he didn't really respect that. Okay, so sometime after we had agreed to just be friends, not initially, okay, keep in mind that I was talking to this guy for like a year, but sometime after that, I, you know, told him that I wanted to just be friends. I then met this other guy that I got into a situationship with, and when I say meet, I don't really think I've talked about this, but when I say I meet someone, I mean I met them on the internet, and it's always just how it usually happens. Like, it's not that I try to look for people that are not in the same distance as me, it's just the way it happens. But this guy in particular, this next guy, I felt like things were a little bit more at stake with him because he lives in the same state as me, and I just felt like things were a little more at stake, and he knew a family member, so I feel like things were more at stake. So I didn't really, you know, I didn't tell anyone of it, but, you know, I'm glad I didn't, just because, you know, that didn't end up working out either. But I briefly mentioned it in my first club experience video. I mentioned how it had happened, but it had ended, and I was trying to get over it. And he saw it, and he was like, oh, you're talking to someone? And I was like, was, but yeah, that's over. And I feel like he didn't really say anything of it, but I feel like he wasn't happy with that. But I feel like once he knew it was over, he wanted to then try to get with me again. Although he never really stopped trying to get with me, but I feel like that made him, you know, get more of a motive to try and get with me still. And yeah, he just kept trying with me, and he you know, he would tell me that, you know, he wanted to come and meet me, and he wanted to meet my family. And I don't just mean my parents and my brother, like I mean like he wanted to meet my uncles and aunts, my godparents, because he knew, you know, that that's important to me. When if I'm ever to be with someone, you know, I want them to meet my whole family, and that includes like everybody that is related to me. And when things I felt were more, you know, the same between us, I did actually want to meet him. But then once I felt like he was moving on at a pace that I wasn't moving on, I didn't think it was right for us to meet anymore, because I felt like it would make things more, it would lead him on more. But I didn't ever tell him. I just didn't know how. But I would just keep telling him like it's not a good time to me, and it really wasn't, and it isn't a good time to me, just because it's just things are happening in my life that would make it that would make it hard, basically. And so, you know, there came a point where I just felt like he wasn't going to get the point of that things, you know, weren't gonna happen unless we completely ended things. And I very recently actually, you know, ended things with him, and I was just like, listen, you're a really sweet guy, but this has to end, because and he actually is the one who like kind of started the conversation. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm the one who started it. He did. But then once because he mentioned how I was like, he finally, I guess, realized that I was like kind of like distant from him and a little bit cold. And I was like, yes, but you have to understand that I'm not doing it to be rude. I'm doing it because I feel like it's the only way that you'll understand eventually that I'm not into you how you're into me. And I feel like the only way that, you know, you'll get over me is if we stop talking for good. And he finally just gave into it, and he was like, all right. And it was hard, but I really do believe it was needed. And it was the right thing to do, because the funny thing is, I feel like he would have given me everything and anything I ever wanted in a man, in a relationship, in a whatever. I just didn't want it from him, and I wasn't going to just be with him to be with him. I wasn't just going to be with him because he offered me everything I wanted. And I wasn't going to waste his time or mine, because I know what it's like. And I told him, I was like, listen, I've had my heart broken. I've had people tell me they are going to come through with what they promised, and they don't. And I wasn't going to be that person to him. I wasn't going to waste his time or mine. And like I said, I wasn't just going to be with someone because they're there. And I feel like a lot of people, to be honest, with disabilities or in general, do that. They settle for someone just because they're there, and sometimes that person is shitty AF, and they settle just because they're there. And like I said, this guy was a very sweet guy. He's very nice, and you know, even though I, you know, didn't end up falling in love with him, I have much love for him. But I wasn't going to settle with someone if they didn't make me feel how I want to feel. You know, I wasn't going to just be with him to be with him. And you know, I want to be with someone who awakens something in me, who makes me feel excited to when they message me, when we talk. And he just, while it happened in the beginning, it didn't continue, and I wasn't going to entertain something that wasn't there. It just wasn't. And I would rather be single, and not have, you know, not have someone who is going to give me that, than be with someone who is going to give me that, but I'm just not feeling it. And I really hope that you guys do the same thing. You know, don't just be with someone to be with someone. Be with them because you really feel like you both are meant to be together, and you really feel like this connection and this bond and this really beautiful thing. And he wasn't the one for me, and I hope he finds someone that is that for him, and I hope I find someone that is that for me. But for right now, I am truly happy being single. Yes, it would be nice to be with someone, I'm not gonna lie, and you know, I do still want that sometimes, but right now I'm really just focused on me, my goals, my my dreams, my career that I'm chasing, and I don't have time to focus on any one or thing else but that. And you know, it's just where I'm at right now, and I think that he was ready for, like, you know, the next step and really settling down and all that, but I'm just not there. And I was also much younger than him, which that happens a lot to me. Like, I'm always like much younger than the guys I you know, get interested in usually. I don't know why. I think I'm just into older guys. I feel like they have it more together, but it just wasn't the one for me. And whether I find someone or not, he wasn't it. And I didn't settle, and I didn't let him settle, and I feel like you all should do the same, like I said. And that's that. But so yeah, that's my story on my latest situationship and thoughts on it. So if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, comment your thoughts, subscribe so you can make new videos, and share if you find this video worth of sharing. Alright.